Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ace Attorney. Today we start the first trial of the bonus case. Let's get the music up and running. There we go. Nice. That sounds a lot better. Yeah, we gotta prove somehow that this woman who is saying she committed a murder didn't, because we take the smart cases because we big Phoenix brained, right? Okay, and I can't remember any of the voices for this, so bear with me. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas. Just going to adjust my chair here. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome. I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yeah? Defense attorney should never believe... A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Skye, you remind me a lot of Mia. There's one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. My first trial without a Fae helping me. No one's gonna bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there. So I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do this, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. Let's go then. Just gotta clear the throat. Woo. I'm ready. I'm getting into it. Again, just gotta warm up the vocal cords. The court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. I haven't seen him in court. I haven't been in court since Edgeworth's trial. It's been a while now. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment is to be made here in our hands. In our hands. Hands in our hands. Not those of anybody else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor office's lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like I'm, confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to the crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness Ms. Angel Star to the stand. The Carve-Up Queen? Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Oh, caviar. I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down. And for you, I have a Fiesta Bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? Ah, and you? Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It's too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste?
So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca.
What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Tapioca's a fish, is it? I have no idea. Name, profession, now. Me? My name is Angel Star, and don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us.
The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating.
Hurry it up!
Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime.
Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional.
Huh? What exactly does that mean?
Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Starr was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Starr was a detective?
Oh! Aha! More like. I know who you are. Look, cough up.
Cough up, Queen Angel Starr, Your Honor. Long time no see.
Very well. You may continue with your description, Miss Starr.
Just who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot of the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor office's personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up the prosecutor's spaces. Yeah. The crime took place by a car in the back of the A block in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with a knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness and an arrest was made on the spot.
And who was this valiant witness?
Why, it was me, Your Honor. Jane, got some evidence.
Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime?
Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor.
It seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright?
I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining?
If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Starr.
Wait, are they talking about me? I have a bad feeling about this, because he says that every time. Let's break her. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective instincts working. Then, through a wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then, she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest.
Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend? How touching.
As you can see, there is no room for doubt.
The key point of this testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman.
So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Haha, because films and stuff, references. Tis but a flesh wound. Oh god, I love Monty Python. I love John Cleese. Holds a special place in my heart.
Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness.
I'd recommend all of you to watch all of Monty Python stuff. Like, Monty Python's Flying Circus, and then all the films that they made afterwards. Okay, let's start pressing. Start putting screws on her. How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence for crime. Yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uniformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim, killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off? She was fired? To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I'm a pro, you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless.
Very well. You may continue, Miss Starr.
Just trying to remember what she said. Somehow as new day has come. Let's talk about the boyfriend. This boyfriend, he's the detective? Not that boyfriend. The security guard.
That boyfriend? You have several?
Yes. This boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open to applicants.
I'll stick with the lunch, thanks.
Just... basically the judge has just laid down the begone thought. Note to self, the judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot in A block. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything clearly from there. That would be the room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So, she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. Okay, Emma. Thanks for telling me that. Okay. So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. Okay. You sensed something? So you're saying you had a premonition of the murder? It felt like... How would you say? Oh yeah. It was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds. Okay, I've never had that feeling before.
Wait, completely with you, Judge. I have no idea what that means.
Speaking of a detective's instincts, wasn't the victim, Mr. Bruce Goodman, also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese.
A young cheese?
A pale white cheese not yet tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn.
I, of course, am hard, yellowed, and sharp as a tack.
I bet you stink too. In any case... I gotta sneeze one moment. Oh, it's not coming. It comes. I apologize. While midstream, it's right at the top of my nose. Oh, it's awful. In any case, they're in their lot. I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. By garish car, you mean Mr. Edgeworth's car? Yes.
Mr. Edgeworth's?
Incidentally, the knife which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's. Wasn't it? Indeed it was.
What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, are you sure it was the defendant?
I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her. If she's telling the truth, we're doomed. Oh, we're screwed. Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always complain. Witness. In your testimony, you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter, crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside.
That was inspiring.
I believe I heard that tagline elsewhere. Could you cry plagiarism? I may be relegated to a lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed.
A photograph? You took this?
The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. This is my first time seeing this photograph. You think I'd show it to a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs.
Well, this is most certainly the defendant.
More evidence. Uh-oh, this is unmistakably Lana Skye. So, what was the defendant doing at the time? Let's just, just have a gander at some stuff first. Just, no prints, okay. One knife wound. Okay, just checking. I'm lining up my pointing finger. I think I know what I'm going to use, we'll see. Think. I would not be surprised if I fail this, though. Tell me more about this knife that the suspect was carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 10 centimeters long. Isn't that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are by nature well versed in the location of a man's vital organs. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg. I mean, a person. Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor. So the defendant was holding a knife. What then? Then tell the court why you didn't stop the crime. You did see her raise her knife to strike, no?
The defense has a point.
Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late.
Too late?
Yes. The next moment, the prosecutor brought down the murder weapon.
I see.
It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it.
You said that before. Anything else?
Scientifically speaking, Ms. Starr's testimony is flawless.
Sounds pretty fatal to me.
What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty?
Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calmer.
Don't smile at me like that.
I feel like this piece of evidence is going to be interesting. Holding a knife in her right hand. Just checking. She's not got the knife in her hand, I don't think, at that point. And she thrust the point knife into Robin's chest. I feel
May as well examine some of these things now while we're waiting. This must be the victim's blood, right? Either that or Edgeworth cut himself peeling an apple. Peeling an apple, because that's what you can do. What's Edgeworth doing with a knife like this anyway? Oh, what's Edgeworth doing like this with a knife anyway? Hey, maybe he spends weekends roughing it up in the wild. Edgeworth in the wild? I think my fruit peeling theory is more likely. Are you kidding? I always pictured him as an outdoorsman. Now there's a scary thought. Just have to rotate this a bit because I completely forgot. I don't think there's anything else on the knife. Miles Edgeworth, 1712. This is the date of the crime. The murder weapon took place 3 minutes after Edgeworth parked his car. If only he had held up an extra couple of red lights, he wouldn't have had to been caught up in this whole affair. Perhaps. Just goes to show that you never know what'll happen when you run a yellow light. Is there anything on the back of it? No. And there's Satan. Autopsy report. 12cm knife. Was it this one where she said 10 centimeters? Maybe I can get her on that. We'll just zoom through. Okay, and press that again just to be sure. It's about 10 centimeters long. That right, Mr. Edgeworth? Well, since she's pushing that, I guess it says. I guess it's that. It says a 12cm knife, a single stab wound was found. Otherwise. No, it's not. Definitely not. I'm stupid. Well, get ready for a load of this, fellas, because, oh, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be more polite. The evidence clearly reveals the contradiction in that statement, Your Honor.
Are exactly the evidence in the statement now related?
They aren't, are they?
Not at all. Mr. Wright, please think the facts over before making accusations.
Don't think that won me any points with the judge. There's no traces on the... There's no traces of stuff on the thingy. Although she has gloves on. Not that. Between 4 PM and 5 PM. Is it this? Because she's got blood on her... Or I'm taking it's blood on, like, her coat. Thinking. A moment, the crime's photographed by Angel Star. I'm taking it's just... Oh, is it a lot more... It's actually a lot... It'll be a lot more thingy than this, because that was meant to be directly from the crime, and so she should have seen her stabbing someone rather than just her at the back of a trunk. Anyway, so let me clear my throat. Okay, breathe in. Try to not cough or sneeze anywhere. Get ready. Okay, and you witnessed this? You saw Miss Sky stab the victim with the knife. As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch.
I'm sure it was a fine lunch.
But, isn't that odd? Would you please look at this photograph? This is the photograph you took the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Sky not holding the knife? Holding a knife?
Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth, sorry. Your thoughts. I turned to a much person younger than me. There for a second.
Objection. Let's be a little more careful with our evidence, shall we? It is you that needs to be more careful, Mr. Wright.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
This photograph was not taken before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. How can you tell that? Blood spatter. See the dark crimson stain on the chief prosecutor's coat? It's a black and white photograph.
Oh, yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood.
Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem, except you. Slam down. 15 love to Miles Edgeworth. Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? You got a better idea? Objection. Slam it. Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. You don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold, calculating, like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was premeditated murder. Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in the photograph.
Well, are those gloves?
Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. What?
These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation.
Premeditated murder, a serious offense.
Witness, add this to your testimony. In.
What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves? Like, for instance, driving gloves. I have a nice pair of them myself. Well, leather gloves anyway. The gloves were omitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves, of course, the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime. Can you stop poking holes in my case, please?
Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr.
This is bad. She's got him thinking this was all planned. If she can prove this claim, the trial's already over. I've gotta think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated. Yeah, I know, Emma. Well, 'tis but a flesh wound. Damn it. Sorry. Let's skip past it. For the fourth time, Emma. 'Tis but a flesh wound. We've got this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, okay, and I think the only possible way to prove that this wasn't is either the prosecutor's trophy or this. This is more likely because Edgeworth only came in, what, 1512? What? Okay, I assumed she just came in, like, really early. And it was only a quick thing. Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence.
Yes, I don't see anything contradictory.
Huh? Really?
Objection overruled. Try to think before you make accusations, Mr. Wright.
Well, I think I just have the wrong thought path. There's gonna have to be something here. Is it the knife? Because obviously if you're going to... If it was premeditated, you wouldn't have used Edgeworth's knife. Booyah. Second time round. I'm slow. Sorry. Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell lunchboxes for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? A bloody murder weapon? A red car? All belonging to the prosecutor there? The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Mommy, those prosecutors are bad people. The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? If in your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder. And that's why she's wearing those special gloves.
Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves are do indicate planning.
However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing, the murder weapon? Oh. The knife would just happen to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. What?
Order.
Great. The tide is finally turning in my favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free.
Foolish mortal.
Right? I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide had turned. Not such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in your whole premeditated theory. Bah. The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution need prove. Nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. She wasn't. Why would she have been wearing...
I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again.
Witness, tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now? Round 3. Angel's deduction. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again.
Again and again? Something tells me I'm about to make happy.
I'm about to do a good and not screw up and not contradict the evidence.
The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound like a lot of premeditation, doesn't it?
So if I order pizza, does that mean I'm planning on to kill the delivery boy?
In any case, the defense may cross-examine the witness. And, stop making stupid remarks.
I think I know what I'm going to use as evidence. You've said that, but you haven't told us how you know. That's what I'm about to tell you, rookie.
I believe what she just said was a mere prelude to the story she's about to tell. Try not to interrupt her again.
Rookie? Never interrupt a storyteller. It's like pulling a bun out of the oven half-baked. Something's half-baked here, all right, and it's you. Try not to confuse the defense. Witness, they're not very quick on their feet. What's with Edgeworth just slamming me home for just cheap insults? Now why did you believe the suspect had intentions to murder the victim? Her actions speak for themselves. You have no proof that Miss Skye called him there. You have no proof that she didn't.
Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts?
There's no record of a call made to the defendant, Miss Lana Skye's phone. She might have written him a letter. Come on, you could have tried public phone at least. In any case, the victim came to the prosecutor's office where he was murdered.
I'm sure he had a reason to be there. Witness? Why do you think it was that the suspect who summoned the suspect who summoned the victim that day? Why do you think it was the
I don't know. Words. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge. What did she have a grudge of him about? What kind of grudge? Well, I wouldn't know that. Of course you don't. It's because she didn't have a grudge. Rookie? I have a lunchbox here. Now, what's inside? How am I supposed to know? See, we agree there is a lunchbox here, but we don't know what's inside. A person's life is like a lunchbox with pretzels. Don't you agree?
I get it. That's why my lunch was so salty.
This judge isn't very good with metaphors. The suspect had a grudge against Detective Goodman. Will you please tell us the basis for thinking this? It's simple. That's the line we're pressing her on, or we're going to beat her on. A human machine? That's a contradiction. Please. You can't find fault with something of substance, Mr. Wright. Can't you find fault with something of substance, Mr. Wright? Note to self, Mr. Edgeworth's size smell like citrus fruit. You say again and again. How many times did she stab him exactly? We often say chop into 1,000 pieces, but we don't actually mean 1,000 pieces. What difference does it make if the deed is done? How come she's getting mad at me?
Let's just say she stabbed him several times and leave it at that.
Leave it at that? This is a murder case, people. Mr. Wright, you should speak up if you have an objection, you know. Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. The short wick burns out the fastest. That's a scientific fact. No wonder. Wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and even a really short wick will burn longer. Obviously, more scientific testing is required.
Okay. I believe it's just going to be as simple as one knife wound. Okay, clean as a whistle.
You say she stabbed him again and again. You couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Fine, then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr.
What do you mean?
I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound.
Aha! You're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth.
What a hunk. He's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one ever notices me.
Well, witness.
You got the crime scene set, right?
Oh, thanks.
I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible.
So you're saying you mistook something for blood?
When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice.
And tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify. Testify, sister.
Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was.
Might as well press her on it. Her red muffler?
Yes, like a scarf. Chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. She can be easily hanged at a moment's notice, I suppose.
She's right. This guy was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? Wait. Isn't it odd you mistook that for splattered blood? Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib.
A judge with a bib. That's why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest.
However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There was only one knife wound. Apparently, Miss Starr isn't entirely sure of her own testimony.
Mr. Wright, this is our chance.
Chance for what, I wonder? Miss Starr has turned out to be a short-tempered... Yeah, okay, now we're back to where we were. Damn it. I've done that twice now. Okay, let's do a big brain think and get our ducks in order. Red muffle looks like blood to me. She doesn't look like she has it in the photo. I'm gonna go with that. I mean, there's nothing else that looks like it contradicts the evidence, to be honest. I only went to that because it seemed like it would be the most obvious to go for. I've got 2 out of 4 where I've not. Objection. Mr. Starr, Miss Starr, I demand an objection. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work.
What?
The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler or any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you've proved it yourself. With this photograph.
Huh? But that can't be.
Only a true professional could be so clueless. I'm sure you'll make a good lunch lady, have no fear. Harsh words, but good.
In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails.
What was my objection? Chopped liver?
But it was there. A scarf. No, not that, but something red. Really.
Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but now back to business.
What?
Very well, witness, continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that.
Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least.
Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony.
Most important part?
The part where your sister stabs the victim. Next testimony might just be the moment of truth.
After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah, yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Chief prosecutor made me escape. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against April's angel star, resistance is futile.
Ah, I'm having all the wrong words today. I can't put sentences together properly. You're quite determined about this scarf, aren't you?
I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Star.
That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake.
Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten.
No thanks. I am completely fine.
Note to self, Attorney Wright gets bitten by a snake. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, knocked over an oil and kicked over an oil drum.
Oil drum?
Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman.
Rawr. Some of the things that I do on this, some of the sounds I make on this channel are going to be clipped. Rrr. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you will. Okay, and let's break it open. So, where is this partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high.
She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do.
And what did you do then? You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect?
As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time.
Maybe I should press her for more details. Nothing that a bit more pressing would help me. I'd like to see this on the floor plans just to be safe. Lunchline car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block. So you witnessed the murder from here? That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is this correct, Miss Starr?
Yes, that's right.
But there's a chain link fence in front of you.
I went over it, of course.
Amazing, the cough-up queen lunch lady athlete, indeed.
It would have taken her a little bit of time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast.
Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high, too. How come Miss Sky didn't get away? She mentioned the muffler? What exactly did she say?
If I remember exactly, I would have told you in my testimony.
Cheeky.
Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler.
Just that one word? So, what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else?
Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone.
Her phone? You mean this cell phone? By phone you mean this cell phone discovered at the crime scene, correct?
Yes, ultimately.
Ultimately?
My memory. It's like a salmon heading upstream, you see.
No, the court doesn't see, Miss Starr.
Chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall.
On the wall? That's right, near the car. There was an emergency phone on the wall.
Apparently it was out of order.
So she used her cell phone. Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying? You should of course add this to your testimony.
The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney.
Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court?
I was going to ask the same thing.
I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookie. Chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled out her cell phone out of her pocket.
During that time, you climbed over the chain link fence.
Then, when I boldly grabbed her arm, Chief prosecutor hung up her phone.
And you saw her doing this?
What is it, Mr. Wright?
You're about to see some, what we call, Admiral Akbar skills, because it's going to be a trap. I think we know what line, I just don't know the piece of evidence I used to beat her over the head with. She made to escape? Can you be more specific?
She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a pâté of foie gras.
Huh?
She even kicked over an oil drum at me.
An oil drum?
There was an oil drum lying on its side at the scene of the crime.
But it's strange.
What's that?
If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way?
The other way? Ah. The car entrance.
That's right. Doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind the partition to the oil drums. Excellent, more mysteries.
Wish I could solve a few before finding more, though. So Miss Sky tried to run?
I'm sorry, my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright.
Not as sorry as I am.
She didn't do it. You have to believe me.
Quickly explained her rights. After the murder, she attempted to run behind the petition to her side. She kept trying to use the phone. I'm just checking. I think I know what I want to use, but I don't know if it's correct. This might seem a bit far-fetched, but I'm going to use the floor plans. Just checking this is the right statement. Okay. Oh, I'm good. I'm really good. Oh, I'm a genius. Praise me. Praise me so much. Who's a genius? I am, because that was just a guess. The reason I picked that... Actually, no, I'll let Phoenix... You know what? I'll let Phoenix do it for me. I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Skye.
Objection!
The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias.
Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago.
Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this?
I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up.
Let's look at the floor plans, if you will. You said the witness came from this spot. However, if that's true, if you saw the witness from this spot, however, if that is true, you couldn't have possibly seen Miss Skye making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the backside of the partition. If indeed you're in B block, you couldn't have seen it.
What?
Order, order. What is the meaning of this?
It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch. She's coughing up lies. Grr. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie the witness has told to the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. Well, she's pretty right about what she saw. The order of events seems to fit. I believe it's where she saw it is going to be the issue. She tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. It would have been pointless for her to lie about it.
Pointless to lie? I see.
The witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency telephone. In other words, Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I've ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it.
Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime?
All the testimony we've heard now points in one direction. The place where Miss Starr witnessed this crime was... It'll have to have been in the security room, right? Because then she could see over it. Right? Hell yeah. This is the only place where she could have been.
The security guard room?
Indeed, the security room Indeed, the security room is... Damn, I said is and I know it's in. I know it's in. In. Indeed, the security room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's because is below it. It's built on the second level so you can see the entire lot.
She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? Why are there so many places that she could have seen the phone?
Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and be in A block... No, sorry. The only position where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Starr? How many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could have turned. Today a man has gotten the better of Angel Starr.
Order, order. Witness. What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better.
I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure that justice prevails. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make sense. Huh? She could have just saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. The photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. The truth still stands. It still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying... if a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk it without a good reason.
So tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright.
Huh? Me?
Who else?
Guy with the lapel and the red coat. Him. It's got an angry look on his face. Not me, not my blue suit and red tie. Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed the crime scene from the security guard station. She lied and said she saw it from B block. It must make a vital difference, but what? What could change? Angle of view to the crime, distance to the crime in lighting. Well, it'd be the angle, wouldn't it? Because if you're completely right behind the actual, you'd see it from like a upper perspective, right? Why, the angle at which she saw the crime occur would change.
The angle? What do you mean?
Well, the security guard station is on the 2nd floor, and, she would have had to sort of have a more 3D view of the crime.
This is important. Why?
Oh, come on.
Perhaps you'd like to reconsider, Mr. Wright.
Mr. Wright, let's review what we know.
Oh, come... I thought it'd be because the photo would be different, because if she's there, she can't be here, so she obviously took that photo later on.
Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard station.
Yeah, okay. The difference in lighting, really? That can't be it. That legitimately can't be it. Surely not. It's more the it must be the distance of the crime then. I just thought it'd be the difference in the picture, because if she took this picture, because she's in block B there. She was in block B when she took this picture, but she saw it in block A. How does this picture stand? Or am I just not very clever? Probably that one. We know it's not an angle. Distance to the crime. Difference in lighting. I guess distance to the crime then, because she would be a lot sooner. It changes her distance between the crime, the scene and between her and the scene of the crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright. Take one look at the floor plans, and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the crime scene and the guard station, 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye?
Well, witness?
You...
Yeah? Yes?
You ordered the squid wheels, right?
Quality of my lunches have gone from low to inedible.
I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend.
Boysenberry for the boyfriend?
He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it.
So she had to go the long way around. To Lot B.
That's why I had to go through the visitors' parking in Block B.
See, so the angle would change. I want a second opinion on this. I don't think I should have had a finger there. I was talking about there. She couldn't have took that photo if the angle changed. So she obviously must have taken more time. My big brain. I'm clever. I got to the same thing a different way.
That's quite a detour.
It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime.
For 5 minutes? This changes things considerably.
But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork.
You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention.
Would you like another caviar lunch?
Absolutely.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Wright, you have to do something.
Do I have any evidence to stop this? Do I have any evidence to stop what? I guess? 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest? Think about it. You can make pasta in that amount of time. If you like it, if you like it al dente. I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. A 5-minute blank? Isn't that strange? Strange? If you're a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor?
Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey. Oh, hey. Don't you get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone.
But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her photo taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yeah.
Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. She has a grudge against the defendant and there's a blank in her memory. Mr. Edgeworth, what is the next witness ready to go?
Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on the account of her professional history. We did it. We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. Who screws cans shut? That was too close.
I'm afraid the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned.
Oh, no, we're gonna get an objection, aren't we? Yeah, I thought so. We always get one. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the one she tried to foist off on me.
I prefer to not take the defense's leftovers. Anything else to say?
I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence.
What was that?
Is this another one of their trick lunchboxes?
My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr.
Is this your jumbo lunchbox?
Woohoo! A triple-decker! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. I'm sorted for lunch for a week. Get it? Score. Let's hear about this decisive evidence.
Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's going on? What's she going to pull out of her lunchbox this time?
Here we go, decisive evidence.
I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. Now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's. The other was the defendant, Miss Lana Skye's blood. The shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence.
What? There was blood found on that shoe?
Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs.
Here we go. Witness, what is the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence?
Simple, as I've already said. I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself.
And you had blood tests performed?
Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics.
In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence.
What?
You should know the 2 rules of evidence law, Miss Starr. With Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence. At least for the time being.
Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating.
Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department.
So as you can see, it was approved by the by the police as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen.
You could at least study some evidence law, really.
Hey, they're big books and they annoy me. The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that the evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. Well, seems you've yet another count against you, witness.
Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged.
Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Okay, this is going to be the last throwdown. We've got, what, 2 lives left? I can probably get this out. Yeah, 2 lives.
Why didn't you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I wanted people to look at the results.
The results?
How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank would mean nothing.
Why didn't you just tell the truth?
Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This when the suspect is admitting she did it?
False testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with.
And you found this shoe at the scene of the crime. I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive.
So like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with a shoe.
I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. And this shoe was my secret weapon if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen.
I'm happy for you in your lunchbox bag, really. In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now tell us what you did next.
So you brought it to the forensics department.
If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert.
And she got away with her little poo because she used to be a detective?
The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it.
Makes sense, after all, a man was stabbed there.
And that blood belongs to the victim, Detective Goodman?
As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe.
You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the victim with a blood... You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the victim with a blood test.
You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie?
Huh?
Well, speak up.
Well, blood comes in 4 types. A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was performed in cold blood.
That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright.
Actually, if you combine all the various blood tests, there are millions of types. It's practically impossible to narrow a blood sample down to one person. Or so I hear.
Millions of types?
If I had a little more time, I would have gotten the DNA test results. They said there's very little doubt that it could be anyone else but Miss Lana Skye.
So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe.
That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that.
Can't let this evidence go through without a fight.
You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole batch of soup. Mr. Wright, do you not have a problem with this shoe?
Problem? This is critical. What's wrong with the victim's shoe?
I'm just gonna have a look at the shoe first before I make any suggestions about it. Let's do a bit of rotating. I need to remember what this, what the actual thing is to shift that.
This blood is my sister's, right?
It appears so. Lana's right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. She must have cut herself at the time of the crime.
Poor sis.
Okay, and let's rotate down.
Ah, there's blood here too. On the sole of the shoe, it's got to be the victim's. She must have stepped in a puddle of his own blood. All this blood is horrible.
This blood might be an important clue.
I think we found our evidence, ladies and gentlemen. I think we found the evidence. There is a problem.
If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there's one critical problem with the evidence. A clear contradiction, if you will.
That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now.
But you couldn't take the heat, could you?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence.
Well, it's going to be on the bottom of the shoe. If she'd had stabbed him, why is there blood on the bottom of said shoe? That's my rationale anyway.
Oh yeah. I wonder if you noticed there's blood on the bottom of this shoe.
Don't mess with me, rookie. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe.
Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe.
It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What possibly could be contradictory about the blood on the bottom... on the bottom of his shoe?
Well... death due to loss of blood. Well, I'm gonna go with this, because if you look at Lana's, I've just noticed that, actually. That's a lucky break for me. She's wearing clearly not white shoes. Is it this?
The problem lies in the footprint.
The footprint?
Note that the bottom of this victim's shoe is covered in blood. The victim is covered in blood. Isn't that strange? Why weren't there any bloody footprints found at the scene of the crime?
Oh, I just meant because she had different shoes on. But yeah, I'll go with it. Definitely meant that, you know. Definitely, you know, 3D chest my way there.
Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe.
Ha, I accidentally got the right evidence. God damn it.
This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. If there were bloody footprints, they would have been found. We checked the scene, and we found nothing of the sort.
Order, order, order. Well, witness?
What? Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction. But then we'd have to ask why there wasn't a footprint.
Oh.
That's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint.
Think, Mr. Wright, think.
Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions.
What?
I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony.
What are you talking about?
Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect.
The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside and kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. Predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr.
Rar. Rrrr, if you want. I don't know. What do you want?
I thought that.
Sorry. Edgeworth, British. I thought that was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty?
Oh, I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory.
Witness, well, was the oil drum empty?
The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water.
Water? What does that mean? Come on, Phoenix, you should know that. It means that the water's washed away the blood. Come on, man. Click on. Still don't get it, Mr. Wright? Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason?
Aha, you don't mean.
Yes. The suspect knocked over that oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that will become evidence against her. What?
That ties things up quite nicely.
This blood... Oh, it's his shoe, not hers. Again, I looked my way into getting the right evidence. I apologize for nothing.
The bloodstains left on the victim's shoes tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then, after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs.
Why, that's the prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence.
That reminds me, Miss Sky's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she cut herself when she stabbed him?
So my sister's blood on the shoe? That's when it happened?
Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial.
Mr. Wright, do something, please.
What can I do? Your sister's confessed to the crime, and she's tried to conceal it.
But...
Enough. There's no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor.
Very well.
Angel Star is on the prosecution's side. She could have been lying about the water.
This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky.
Seconds. Oh, okay. You again.
Little girl, what did you say? Huh? Me? Did you say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution's side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well, I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox, a lunchbox called evidence.
Well, wait, witness, don't tell me you have something else.
You've reached your verdict, Your Honor. Any further comments will be held in contempt of court.
Your threats don't scare the cough-up queen. Look at this.
A photograph?
I had this just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim.
I see no room for error in this evidence.
Mr. Wright, wait. Look at that asphalt in this photo.
Hey, it's clearly wet.
Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all.
It's not your fault. I couldn't win with this case. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. Wait a minute. I'm gonna get a big brain moment. I'm sorry, Mia. We're gonna get the Mia flash, aren't we? Yeah, we are.
Right. Whether or not. Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up. Get yourself up off the asphalt.
Yeah, that's what it's.
Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence.
Very well, this time I'd like to declare a verdict for good.
Objection, please. I will have a single objection. I'd like to order one singular objection, please. Your Honor, wait.
What is it with you people? Can I not hand down my verdict in peace anymore? Whatever it is, it cannot wait.
No, it can't, Your Honor. Then it would be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence a proper consideration.
So, Wright, are you saying that there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence?
Yeah.
I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this.
I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a first shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court where the problem in this photograph is.
Okay. Just checking. He's got the knife in him. Is it the... I'm taking it's the Well, there's two things I want to check out. There's the shoe, which is the... There's also this, which I want to look at. The problem is in this photograph. Here.
What's this?
Oh, sorry, what is this?
There's something poking out of the car's muffler.
Just wait a moment, Mr. Edgeworth.
Your Honor?
You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf or any kind in this photograph.
A muffler is also part of a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as a part of an exhaust system, a pipe.
I see. I see. What's that suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler?
So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, I beg to differ. Sorry, Miss Starr. But it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why it's important to the case. You said as much in your testimony.
What?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us what you think the piece of cloth in the muffler is related to this case.
I believe this. It's the most obvious bit of it. Miss Starr. Nope. Click the wrong button. An anticlimactic, I clicked the wrong button. Recall your testimony for the court.
Yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler?
Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, this means this piece of cloth is vital evidence.
Oh!
I'm not doing large screams.
Well, we will have to suspend the proceedings.
Suspend?
I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered, we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed?
I suppose so. Whew. That was close. But we made it.
At least. At least for now.
Court will be adjourned for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all.
You still hungry?
Oh, great, round 2. Yes, I would like to save. Oh, my ears. I don't know why. My headphones have been getting to my ears recently. Just first, they tend to the back of my ears tend to ache for some reason. It's probably because the headphones are not in the correct position, or I'm not, there's not the right length between them and on each side. So it's like tugging at my ears a bit, maybe when I turn my head or something. I don't know.
Anyway.
Mr. Wright,
Huh? What?
are trials always like this with you? Like you're swimming up to the bottom of a lake about to reach the surface? No matter how hard you paddle, you never seem to get there?
Pretty much. Except today we're swimming in quicksand. So what happened to your sister anyway?
Apparently she got called off to the judge's chambers.
Probably something to do with that piece of cloth.
So, this is where we turn this trial around, right? Our only weapon, a tiny, insignificant piece of cloth.
I'm the one who's starting to feel tiny and insignificant, to tell the truth. Hola, partner. They say you show a red cloth to a bull, it'll fire up its temper. That's what they told me when I was a young'un, at least.
Officer Marshall!
Thought I'd come to take a look and see how the trial's going. Looks like I'm late. They've got the place locked down tighter than a fort in enemy territory. What's going on over there, anyway? All the police I've seen in the last 2 days have been really on edge. Don't you got enough on your plate without worrying about other people, compadre? You could be worrying about the chief prosecutor's taste in mufflers, for example.
Officer Marshall? The whole muffler thing didn't have anything to do with scarves. She wasn't even wearing a scarf.
You don't say. Now, don't that just beat all? I've seen the red breeze blow at her slender neck many a time. I saw it that day, too. She was wearing a red muffler.
What?
At the awards ceremony that afternoon, Edgeworth seen it too, I reckon. What does that mean? This photograph taken at the crime scene, she wasn't wearing a scarf.
So Miss Starr wasn't mistaken?
Well, it's about time. Remember, partner, sometimes you gotta grab the bull by the horns. And sometimes you just gotta let that bull go where it will. Time will tell. I have a bad feeling about this.
So he says it every single case. So, what are we swimming in now, Mr. Wright?
If it's steak sauce, I can hook you up with some fine ribs. Hooey! Okay,
I'd like to resume.
what's up? Judge seems to be looking over the prosecution. He don't look happy.
Is something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth? Your face is blue, your lips are purple, and you're sweating bullets. That furrowed brow, those grinding teeth, and those watery eyes. What's more, your eyes are unfocused, so you're doubled over, your back is bent.
It can't be. This can't happen.
I wonder what happened to Mr. Edgeworth.
Well then, I believe it is time we continued on with this trial. During our recess, I had requested that the prosecution conduct an investigation.
This is unacceptable.
It seems our prosecutor is quite beside himself.
Excuse me? Knock knock?
Who's there?
Oh, it's... this guy. What's with this guy? I don't know what voice to give him. I'm thinking. Strange stuffy aura seems to be filling the courtroom.
Hey! The temperature rose 5.7 degrees when that man came in.
What on earth is he?
Ah, it's you.
We're just gonna sit here?
Oh!
Oh, I know what voice I'm gonna give him now. Sorry I'm late. Edgy? The roads were just packed, it's just me. Long time no see ya, Edgy. How've you been? Swim much these days? Oh, Edgy is in like...
Oh, hello. I've been so busy.
Busy smizzy, Edgy. Edgy, my boy. You have to make time to relax.
Yes, indeed.
Edgy?
Seems to be his nickname for Judge.
I'm afraid you're right. Very afraid. Sorry, but who are you?
See, you're righto.
The attorney.
I've heard good things about you, son.
Thanks? I'm sorry about our little Worthy giving you all that trouble, eh? You know, we should all go swimming together sometime. Charlie. Little Worthy?
Mr. Wright, you don't know the district chief of police?
Chief of police?
He's the top-ranking police officer in the entire district.
The name's Gant. Damon Gant. Pleased to meet you, everyone.
So, what do we owe this honor today? It's been over, 2 years since you last came to the courtroom, hasn't it?
Well, it's Worthy here. Look at this poor fellow. I just thought I'd help him out by bringing this. Hey, that's...
My sister's muffler.
So Miss Starr wasn't seeing things. When the crime occurred, Miss Starr really was wearing that muffler.
But to think it was stuffed in that exhaust pipe.
On little Worthy's car, no less. It's really quite embarrassing, even for us.
What's this?
It's what you call a switchblade knife. Quite perplexing, this. Chief, what kind of outfit are you running?
Mr. Edgeworth?
How could they miss such a vital piece of evidence? Your investigators are this lax, how do you expect us to do our job? Now wait a minute, Worthy. I have no desire to hear your excuses.
I'm telling you to wait. Or didn't you hear me?
Have a look at this here document. Where it says person in charge of the investigation, there's no mistaking that signature. Miles Edgeworth. That's no fair. The day of the crime, I had. You're head in the clouds because you got that award. I know how you feel. But you're the person in charge. I expect a written apology. What? Are you serious? Don't be too upset. We'll find a way to clean up this mess that you made.
This is the first time I've seen Edgeworth at a loss for words.
This kind of major blunder is unlike you, Mr. Edgeworth. The court accepts this new evidence. But I'd like to ask the defense a favor first.
Yes?
Just to be sure, I'd like to take a look at the blade of this knife.
The blade, Your Honor? Well, I don't see why not.
Could you open it up for me, I wonder?
Yes, well, I think all you have to do is push the switch end.
If I'd cut my finger, Mr. Wright, I wouldn't be able to pound my gavel anymore. It hurts too much.
Yeah, but if I cut my finger, I wouldn't be able to point it at people anymore. Come on, hurry up and just open it.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were leading me there. Okay.
There's a small tag on this knife. It seems to say SL992. What does that mean?
Well, I've heard something similar. DL6, the DL6 incident fame.
But it's strange.
What is?
I'm not certain, but I get the feeling I've seen this somewhere before. Letters like this, or letters that look a lot like it somehow.
Right then, let's press the button then.
Wow, don't scare me like that.
I'm the one who's scared.
Look at this knife blade. The tip is broken off. And this dark red stain? Blood?
Oh, I had a heart attack then. I thought the game just stopped. I was like, ooh, it just, like, music just cut off abruptly then. That was, ooh. Oh, sorry, I just have to compose myself for a moment. No, that actually genuinely scared me. I was like, what the hell just happened? And then, okay, relax. Breathe in. Begin Edgeworth talking. This does not excuse the actions of the police department. I'd like to hear an explanation from the chief of police himself.
I'm terribly sorry, but could I ask you to testify for us? About the split between the prosecutors and the police, and this knife.
Sure thing. Not a problem. Not a problem. Not even a little one, really. Department in disorder. This knife is special. I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. This was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. The detective was killed at the police department. See? What a mess. The time of the crime? 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it.
There was a murder at the police department? A detective?
That's hush-hush information, Yoji. We haven't exactly announced it yet. Wait a second. You said 5:15. That's the exact time that Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office.
Order.
Anyway, we were at the department and we were all flustered, as you might well assume. We're in the middle of a top-secret investigation. Don't tell anyone, okay?
I think we understand the police department's situation. Well, Mr. Wright?
2 detectives killed at the same time in 2 different places. The chances of that are really slim, scientifically speaking, of course.
I'd like to exercise my right to cross-examine the witness, if you please.
Very well, however, keep your questions focused on the case at hand.
Excuse me? Special? Or to come by this particular knife anywhere else. Might that special thing be this little tag? Oh, sorry, Righto, but I can't say that now. Not that.
We've established the knife in Goodman's chest was this knife, and why there was another knife at the scene of the... And why was there another knife at the scene of the crime?
It's quite a mystery. And like a mystery, it's wrapped in something, a muffler.
This knife was found at the scene of the crime. I think that makes it connected to this case, don't you?
See, there's a lot of things that go on at the department I can't explain. It's delicate, okay? Sorry, Righto.
Maybe there's something about this knife that will give us a clue. Let's examine the knife while we can, Righto.
Evidence that links this knife to Detective Goodman. I think perhaps the pieces are falling into place. That track presenting a piece of evidence that's had me stumped all this time? So, how are things down at the department?
Wait a minute. Oh! Just in case, we'll get through the rest of the statements. I just want to check something really quick. What was the numbers on there again? SL92, okay. And Emma says she knows something about it, which is basically use it or something. Okay, and I think I have an idea. I'll let all you people at home, while we're pressing the other statements, figure it out. Something didn't happen at the police department, too, did it?
You got a good look in your eyes there, Righto, my boy. Sharp, hungry.
Chief, did something happen? And why haven't I heard?
Why haven't you heard?
Or why didn't you ask?
No matter, no matter, I understand. Also, no matter, I understand you were busy with all Lana's case and all.
Well, what happened? What happened at the police department that day? On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department?
That's a fact. Surprising, isn't it, Yudgy? I'm at a loss for words.
And the perpetrator, do you have a suspect?
Well, there was a suspect, just arrested him, in fact.
Just arrested? That was quick.
But, there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you can help, Wright.
I suppose I could help if you'd help me by giving me data on the case.
Oh, good one. The kid's sharp. Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing and one thing only.
We know he died at 15. We know he was found in the police department, so it's how the victim was killed.
Well, how was the victim killed?
How was he killed? Now that's the interesting part. It's what we in the force call a stabbing, with a knife.
A knife?
It's exactly the same as Detective Goodman. That's the spirit we're cooking now. But you know, that's not the only thing that was exactly the same.
What do you mean?
There were more similarities between the two cases than the cause of death.
It seems like I'm going to have to press a bit harder. Five 15? But that's when Detective Goodman was killed in the prosecutor's office.
What? Funny, isn't it?
The murder at the prosecutor's office and a murderer in our very own place at the exact same time. What are the chances?
Coincidence? This is just my gut feeling, but I'd say there's a 0.001 chance of that happening. Chief Gant, tell us more about the incident.
How can you say there's no connection? How? Because I'm the chief of police. I can't just say anything I please, Righto. You understand? Try to understand, Righto. Well, if you can prove there is a connection, more power to you. Maybe there is something that ties the two murders together.
Whatever it is, I'd better find it and get to the bottom of this. 2 detectives were killed at 5:15, one at the prosecutor's office and one at the police department. That can't be a coincidence. And that knife, what's it doing there? I'd better check this knife out. I think I know. I think it's this. Because you get... Hey, if we flip it over, I think I'm right. Love it. Wait a second.
At last, an honest-to-goodness objection.
This knife, this has something to do with Detective Goodman.
What do you mean?
An honest-to-goodness, what do you mean from the judge? This is great.
Would you look at the tag on this knife? It reads SL-9-2.
This is important. Why?
And over here we also have this memo which was on the body of the victim.
What's this? 6 minus 7S 12/2?
Your Honor, it's upside down.
Upside.
The printed name on the memo makes it look like it's right side up. When you turn it around, what do you get?
Aha!
When he wrote this note, he was holding the paper upside down.
SL9. That's the same thing written on... There's the same thing written on the knife's tag. Order, order, order. Well, Chief.
Oh, well. I guess the cat's out of the bag. You win, Righto.
I win? What game is this guy playing? So this knife was stolen?
Yes, but on the day of the murder.
It was evidence, you say? Was it in fact a murder weapon?
Nice, nice. Good show, Little Worry. It was a murder weapon as it happens. There was evidence from a case long since solved.
So this knife was stolen on the day of the murder, and it was found in the exhaust pipe of Edgeworth's car. Hard to think there isn't a connection there. What am I looking for? Is it just press the statements again, or is it... No, this is giving me the same stuff.
Knife was stolen. It was stolen. Knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. Trying to look at something that contradicts that. A mess, time of coincidence, scary coincidence, eh? Nothing was linked to this case, so I can't. Is it just that then again? No. Evidence clearly reveals the contradiction to your statement, Your Honor. Unrelated are they? Boom. Strike one. Don't think that won me any points with a judge. It's 2-21. We have to keep pressing until we find the right question. Just arrested them, that was quick. Still answer questions. Where was the so we know how the victim was killed. We've found that out. Where the victim was found. Or the next one. So tell me, where was the victim found?
Well, I can't.
Sorry.
I can't speak on where the corpse was found, but I can say that the crime took place in the evidence room at the police department. At the police department.
The evidence room? Wait a second, I've heard of that. The evidence room? Didn't he mention that in his testimony just now?
This knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room.
There's the connection between the two cases. You seem happy, Mr. Wright. Happy? Just got handed our ticket to go to town on this case. What's the link? With the link between these two established, we finally have some leverage. Now I can get Gann to testify about the details.
Small tag attached. What do I do then? It's like, yeah, I need to find the right objection, but I'm like, what? I don't know what the right piece of evidence is. I am utterly confused at this moment. Go through this again. We'll do the third one and see if that makes any difference. So when did the murder at the police department occur?
Well, that's a sharp question, Righto. Very sharp. Well, my boy, you're gonna love this.
I'm so confused. I'm trying to pick out the right piece of evidence. I'm just like... Why is it not the knife, though? That should be the connection, right? Knife was evidence in You just said a murder was this. Oh, this is infuriating. Right, hang on. Just, you know, I'm slow. I'll admit. Suspect arrested quickly. Let's see what he says about the middle one. Oh, sorry, no, the top one, sorry. Tell me, was the victim found? Can't speak on where the corpse was found, but I can say a crime did take place. I can say the crime took place in the evidence room. Wait a second, I heard of that. Just said it's there's the two connections between the two cases. You seem happy, Mr. Wright. Happy? Maybe I've got some leverage.
It's not officially linked to the case. There's not much to talk about it.
Well, if you give me some evidence that clearly like, the knife clearly contradicts it. Boom, done. Should be out of here. The boot does not. Oh, doesn't. This doesn't. But why can I not just use the knife and be like, here, this was in that case and then it got stolen? Is it just, like, I don't know. I'm genuinely lost for words. I don't know. I don't know. Really? Just gotta... Sorry, just one minute there.
Objection overruled.
Oh, sorry. Not pressing the buttons rightly. Sorry, just saying something up there.
Try to think before making accusations, right? Oops.
Oops, that didn't go so well. I've said, so it's clearly backing me up to this tree. Case isn't officially linked, so I can't talk much about it. Is it just press him on this? God, it's pressing him on this. It's always. Oh, that's frustrating. Chief, the defense's position is simply this. Connection between these two cases has already been proven.
Huh? You don't say. Well, out with it, Righto. What's your connection? Yes, out of it, Mr. Wright.
The connection is a place mentioned in the testimony we just heard. The knife found in the lot was stolen from the police department's evidence room. Not to mention the victim had written down the numbers on the knife's evidence tag. We also know that we also know that a detective was murdered at the police department. He was killed in that very same evidence room.
Indeed. There do seem to be too many connections for it to be a coincidence.
You two make a good pair. It took my men 2 days to find out what you deduced right there. Chief, I request that you release the information on the victim at the police department.
See, that's the tricky part. It hasn't been announced yet and all.
Can we get information unofficially?
Sure, why not? It's unofficial after all.
What? Really? Who would have guessed? And I'll talk, but I can't give the name. Oh, if you're going to tell us a little, why not tell us everything?
Ah, well, case information is tricky stuff. You have to do everything properly.
Oh well, I guess I might as well try and get what I can out of him. Victim's ID number is probably going to be the best one. Kane, how about you can tell me the victim's ID number? Maybe it can match to, maybe it can match to Goodman's.
Sure, why not? It's not like you'll be able to tell who it is from that.
Of course not. You won't tell me their name after all.
We keep a tight lid on ID numbers, so don't go getting your hopes up.
The number is... Alright, you can take your time. 5842189. Same as Goodman's. I guessed greatly.
Well, that's, quite long. And we have to remember these. It drives me nuts. 82... I can't do it.
You didn't even get the first number right.
Well, Mr. Wright, does this tell you anything?
The ID number of the victim... This does tell me something. Actually, it does, Your Honor. It does. I think.
Meaning?
It has to be what I think it is. But what does this mean?
Well, let's hear what the defense has to say. You say the ID number of the detective who was murdered at the police department tells you something. What does it tell you?
Slam table. Witness.
What is it, Mr. Wright? You're grinning like a schoolgirl on prom night.
No, it's just... I got confused. And this is news? Huh? Just come out with both guns blazing like you always do. The police department, the prosecutor's office, 2 places, 2 detectives murdered at one time. Actually, I happen to have a police ID number here.
Oh, is it yours?
No, Your Honor, I'm a defense attorney, remember? This is the ID number of our victim, Detective Goodman.
Shame on you, Righto. Personal IDs are top secret.
Detective Goodman's ID number is 5842189.
And this means what exactly?
Huh?
Wait, that ID number we heard from the chief earlier. That started with 82 something I've forgotten.
You even got the first number wrong. I'm really sorry. I think that pressing has thrown me. I didn't expect to press. I thought it was present evidence, so I've just lost a load of things because of my stupidity. Anyway, the number the chief gave us was 5842189. I will not do what the judge has just done. Wait a second, Wright. What does this mean? That's what I want to know. The 2 ID numbers are identical. In other words, the detective killed in this police department's evidence room was Bruce Goodman. What does our witness think about that?
Sharp as a tack, Righto. Sharp as a tack. But wait, Detective Goodman is our victim. He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot. Yet, Detective Bruce Goodman was also...
I'm sorry. Yet, a Detective Bruce Goodman was also killed at the police department. In the evidence room at the exact same time. That's impossible. So what you're saying is, the same person was killed at the exact same time? That is in a completely different location?
Order, order, order. Chief, what does this mean?
No. What I want to know is, why didn't I hear about this? Yes, it's top secret, fine. I'm the prosecutor in charge of this case.
Now, wait a second, Worthy. No need to get all flustered.
Your Honor, the police department has made a grave error in this case.
Wait. I said wait. Or didn't you hear me? You oversight the grave error? Mr. Edgeworth, they're yours.
What? How dare?
We informed you yesterday. I believe it was our Officer Meekins who brought you the news.
Officer Meekins?
Mr. Wright, where have we heard that name before? Wait, aha!
Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got a report, sir.
You don't mean him?
According to Meekins, you didn't accept the report. Hard to believe.
But your officer, he told me. He said that the report had nothing to do with the Lana Sky incident.
Detective Bruce Goodman murdered in the police department evidence room. Mr. Edgeworth, the victim's name is written up on the top of the file.
Gah! Why didn't your officer tell me?
Honestly, I'm not sure if that officer was capable of making the connection. He did seem, challenged.
In any case, there is a serious error, a gross negligence of duty on your part, Worthy.
But sir, you could have submitted that report this morning to the court as evidence. Then
No such luck this time, Worthy, or should I say, unworthy.
What?
Now, what was the second rule of evidence law?
Well, Mr. Wright,
Huh? It's
Rule 2. New evidence may only be submitted if it concerns the case on trial. And how is this relevant?
normally you submit a list of evidence to be used in court before the trial. This report wasn't on that list. So what does this mean? I couldn't submit this evidence until a connection was proven in court. The connection was just proven by Wright over there. Good job, Wright, my boy.
I was just doing my job. No. No.
It seems we have come to the end of this trial. You're becoming a thorn in my side, Worthy. There have been rumors. After all, you were in the defendant's chair just last year.
I apologize for my terrible lack of due diligence on my part. Due diligence.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Please, just give me one day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened. If it's the last thing I do.
You better get results this time. Really.
I'm sorry. I'm so very sorry.
Poor Mr. Edgeworth.
I don't think there's ever been an error this serious in the history of this court. We'll grant one further day as the prosecution has requested. Will this be sufficient, Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Whatever your punishment is, for your sake, I hope it is not decisive. Very well, court is adjourned.
And the thing is, we're gone for 2 hours. And I really would like to break it up.
into little sections. You don't. I don't want you being left out. So I think I might leave it here. Will I? Won't I? Yes, I will. Okay. Okay, we'll leave it here. So we'll split up like this from the Actually, no, you know what? We'll go a bit longer. We'll see if it go. We'll see where this goes. If it goes to the next day. Yeah. Okay, it's going to the next day. Okay. We'll go to the next day of investigation. I was hoping there'd be like a little court thing afterwards. I might play that to get some minutes, but it seems like we're just going to the next day. Anyway, what I'll do then is I will end the episode here, and we will start investigating on the next episode. I think that's fair. It cuts in. It draws a nice line under it. Anyway, but for now, I want to thank you guys for watching. People on Twitch, all these get archived to YouTube. If you do miss a stream, you can click down below. There should be a link there to these YouTube to my channels where you can find the streams. People on YouTube, I stream all these live from Twitch. You want to interact or just watch live? That's fine by me. There should be a link in the description of every video that I do to the Twitch channel as well as my other stuff. And with that, I'd like to thank you guys for watching one final time, and bye bye.